How'd it happen?
What do you mean?
How'd you die?
How'd you know?
You, Thea, and Nissa left here over a year ago in search of Lazarus Pits, and I have not seen bloodlust like that since Thea was resurrected by one. Damn it.
Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, today what we've got for you guys is another Arrow video. We've got some Roy and Emiko stuff to discuss, as well as the surprise return of a fan favorite character a little later on. Our most recent Arrow episode, that being episode 20 of season 7, titled Confessions, aka the last episode before the penultimate episode, aka the Roy Returns to Present Day episode that we've all been waiting for. As it was teased before it aired, this episode takes a page out of the book of many crime dramas and whodunit mysteries, as Team Arrow is brought into the SCPD for questioning after 2 security guards wind up dead after a mission to stop Emiko and the Ninth Circle from releasing the bioweapon on Star City goes a bit off the rails. Throughout the whole episode, we have different perspectives from all of our members of Team Arrow on what they saw and what really went down that night. Really loved these flashback moments, other than the absolutely horrendous filter that was put over most of them until the very end when we see what really happened, but the actual content within those flashbacks was pretty good. I also thought that Felicity just getting a bunch of food and everything because she's pregnant was absolutely hilarious during her interrogation, but come on, how does no one realize that she's eating a bit more than usual? Anyway, one character that I wasn't too pleased with at first in this episode was Dinah. In the past, this character has definitely had her ups and downs, but she was just so out of character for the majority of this episode. That was until we did have the reveal at the end of the episode that this was all just a cover-up by everyone on Team Arrow to pin the guards' murders on Emiko, who we'll get back to, and cover for Roy, who actually did the deed. So this totally redeemed all of the weird moments with Dinah from early on and made it all make sense in the end. I guess everyone on Team Arrow is a pretty great liar when they need to be. But over to Roy, who is brought back into the fold in present day to help sort of be the ace in the hole for Team Arrow, someone that Emiko wouldn't recognize, to try to throw her and the Ninth Circle off, as well as to put a stop to their evil plots. We had a really nice moment early on in the episode between Oliver and Roy, where Roy mentioned that Thea is all good and they are still on their Lazarus Pit mission, and this all came back towards the end of the episode, where we learn that Roy is in fact the one who ended up killing those guards due to bloodlust. Really loved that scene where Oliver said that Roy is and always will be a member of Team Arrow no matter what, and walked over to him knowing exactly what was going on and just said, "So how did you die?" Based on what Roy told Oliver, it was on a mission to destroy a pit. Roy was shot with an arrow, Thea and Nissa revived him, then destroyed that pit, but possibly because of the latent Mirakuru in his system, it has made the bloodlust even more severe and uncontrollable. So this does explain a lot about the future Roy, and that scene where he ended up beating up that guard or that copper guy, whatever, whoever that guy was in the future that he beat up, and Dinah had to pull him away, so it all makes sense now. Also, this is probably why he exiled himself to Lianyu in the future, so it seems like Roy's story going forward will be learning to control the bloodlust, similar to Thea and Sarah back when they were revived as well. Pretty crazy plot twists, and I am super excited to see where it all goes, and I'm so glad that Roy is finally back in present day. Definitely missed him and his acrobatic skills on Team Arrow. On to the Emiko stuff though, it seems like they are pushing more and more in the evil Miko direction, but I still feel like in the end she will not leave off as the big bad or a villain, but you never know. They were really pushing her evil factor in this episode, and she said and did some pretty harsh stuff to Oliver, basically admitting that she is responsible for everything that has happened to him since the Gambit, because she could have stopped it and saved their father but chose not to. She's definitely gone off the deep end, and it seems like at least until the end of the season, Emiko will have it out for Oliver and Team Arrow, especially in next week's episode, as it looks like she is still trying to kill everyone and tarnish their legacy, but again, we could be surprised and see her redeemed by the end of the season. But then again, all signs are pointing to Emiko as an irredeemable villain unless there's something else yet to be revealed, so we shall see how it all plays out. Emiko is definitely shaping up to be very different from her comic book counterpart, as she legit tried to kill not only Oliver but the entirety of Team Arrow by dropping a building on them, and as much as I don't want to see Emiko end off as a villain, it seems like the most likely direction as of now, unfortunately. Anyway, very excited for more of Roy in present day and to see how all of the Death Lazarus Pit bloodlust stuff carries into that future as well as the present day story, and to see what side Emiko ultimately ends the season off on. But something else very interesting that has actually just come out only a couple of hours ago at the time of this recording, we have a surprise character returning for the next episode. The CW released a couple more promo photos for episode 21, which feature Colin Donnell back as a bearded Tommy Merlyn, next to Oliver in that destroyed area of the building that Emiko blew up within the last episode. From the two pictures, it seems like Tommy will end up being some sort of hallucination that Oliver has to deal with in the episode while he's trapped in this building with seemingly no way out. This is definitely a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one to have Colin Donnell back as Tommy for at least a bit of this episode, and it really makes me wonder who else Oliver could end up hallucinating while he's trapped down there in that building. And it is pretty fitting that Oliver would end up materializing Tommy while he's trapped down there, as it is how Tommy died all the way back at the end of season 1, trapped under the rubble of a destroyed building. Very poetic there. Also, for those of you not aware, Colin Donnell, who does play Tommy, and was on Chicago Med for the past few years, which is why he was only very periodically popping up on the show from time to time, actually announced recently that he was leaving that show, so this does leave him wide open to come back to Arrow even more for its final season in one form or another. Really hoping that Tommy popping back up now in episode 21 means that he may be back in a larger role for season 8, but only time will tell. But according to Colin, it seems like he ended up filming for quite a bit longer than he has in the past for some of his quick appearances, so it seems like his role within this episode, whatever it may be, is going to end up being quite a bit bigger than it has been in past seasons. With that said, very excited for Colin's return as Tommy within the next episode. Can't wait for the undoubtedly awesome scenes that he's going to be having with Steven as Oliver within this next episode. So I want to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. Are you happy with Roy's return to the present day? What do you think of the Bloodlust story? Do you think Emiko really is beyond redemption at this point and she is just evil Emiko for good now? And finally, what do you think of Tommy's return once again? I want to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video.